Shaken but undeterred, Sebel and Steve guided their lander toward a much larger island rising from the ring ocean. This one stretched for kilometers, its scaled surface covered in denser forests of the translucent, glowing plants. From above, it looked solid, almost permanent, a true landmass in a sea of living islands. They set down carefully on a broad, relatively flat section of scales and stepped out, pulse rifles ready. The ecosystem here was both breathtaking and brutal. Strange, elephant-like herbivores moved slowly across the living ground, their massive bodies covered in thick, mottled hide that matched the scales beneath them. One of the creatures grazed peacefully near a cluster of glowing plants, its trunk-like appendage pulling translucent leaves into its mouth. For a few precious minutes, the explorers collected samples in relative peace. Sebel carefully bagged more of the glowing flora, while Steve scanned the surrounding waters. Then the sky darkened. A high-pitched, vibrating hum filled the air. Thousands of flying creatures descended in a living cloud, translucent winged leeches the size of large birds, their bodies glistening like wet glass. The swarm moved with terrifying coordination. Within seconds, they landed on the elephant-like herbivore. The massive animal barely had time to raise its head before the leeches latched on. Their needle-sharp mouths pierced its hide. In less than 3 minutes, the herbivore's body collapsed, drained completely dry. Its skin sagged over empty bones as the leeches swelled with stolen blood, their translucent bodies turning deep crimson. Then the swarm turned. Thousands of hungry eyes locked onto Sebel and Steve. "Torch mode!" Steve shouted. They switched their pulse rifles to wide-beam flame settings and unleashed sweeping arcs of fire across the sky. The heat seared dozens of leeches out of the air, their wings shriveling as they fell, burning to the scales. But the swarm was endless. Wave after wave dove at them, beaks clicking, translucent bodies reflecting the red twilight. Sebel's suit registered multiple impacts as leeches struck her armor, searching for weak points. Steve fired continuously, creating a wall of flame between them and the swarm. One leech managed to latch onto his shoulder plate. He ripped it free and crushed it under his boot. "Back to the lander!" Sebel yelled. They fought a desperate fighting retreat across the living island, flames lighting the scaled surface as they went. The lander's automated defenses joined the battle, pulsing energy bolts that cut through the swarm. The explorers dove through the hatch just as the bulk of the leeches crashed against the hull. Engines roared. The lander lifted off, leaving the blood-swollen creatures behind. They hovered above the water, hearts pounding, suits scorched and blood-smeared. Then the ocean itself attacked. From the dark water surrounding the large island, long, transparent, eel-like aliens surged upward. Their bodies were almost completely see-through, long, sinuous forms with needle teeth and glowing internal organs. Dozens of them climbed onto the island's edge, moving with unnatural speed toward the lander. Steve opened fire. Pulse bolts tore through the first wave, leaving writhing, transparent corpses on the scales. But more eels poured from the water. Instead of attacking the explorers, the living eels turned on their fallen kin. They began to feed. Through the transparent skin of the living eels, Sebel and Steve watched in horror as the dead bodies were consumed and then merged. Flesh, organs, and bone dissolved and reformed inside the living predators with impossible speed. The dead eels simply became part of the living ones, their biomass absorbed in seconds. Sebel's scanners flashed with readings she struggled to process. "Click chemistry," she whispered. "Highly selective molecular reactions. Azide alkyne cycloaddition. They're not just eating, they're assembling new tissue on the molecular level. Modular molecule assembly in real time." The living eels grew larger as they absorbed their own dead. Their transparent bodies stretched, new segments forming instantly. The explorers watched as one eel nearly doubled in size within a minute, its internal structure rearranging like living Lego blocks. "They're using bioconjugation," Sebel continued, voice tight with scientific awe and terror. "Every dead body becomes raw material for the next generation. Instant reconstruction." More eels continued to climb from the ring ocean. The larger ones now turned their attention back to the lander, teeth gleaming. Steve slammed the thrusters. The lander shot upward, leaving the living, cannibalizing swarm behind. Below them, the large island continued its slow circulation around the red dwarf, its surface once again peaceful until the next feeding cycle began. Sebel stared at the samples they had managed to keep. This entire ring ocean is one vast chemical factory. Holobionts, click chemistry, living islands, every rule of biology is broken here. Steve guided them higher, scanners searching for any truly solid ground. And every rule we break brings us closer to something that wants to break us. The ringed ocean stretched endlessly below, its living islands rising and sinking in the eternal red twilight, carrying secrets that could rewrite the understanding of life itself. They had survived the leeches and the transparent eels, but the ocean was far from finished with them.